All right, AJ. We had the NBA trade deadline yesterday. What did you think about it overall?
Well, it had a really good start, but it got really the end. I feel like it didn't end up being as good as we thought towards the end.
Yeah.
All the big moves happened right away, and then we were kind of just waiting, and it was weird little trades.
I was waiting for a Kyle Lowry trade to happen, and it just never did. It just didn't seem to. I don't know if they didn't get the right offer or what happened. I would assume that was the case, but I just when he left that game the night before and he waved to the crowd and all that, I just kind of assumed that he had requested a trade to a certain team and it was going to happen, but it just never did.
Yeah, it was weird, and I'm hearing we heard that the Lakers didn't want to get rid of Taylor Horton-Tucker for Kyle Lowry. I don't know.
If they lose the finals this year, people are going to come back to that.
They get so attached to young players and overvalue them, and it ends up hurting them in the long run.
This is for you Lakers fans.
Yeah, sorry guys. You just
THT and Kuzma, they act like they're future Finals MVP.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. But I guess we could start with the big one.
We could start with just the Orlando Magic as a whole, trading their entire roster.
Outside
of Terrence Ross. He's like that meme of what's the dude when he's in a room all by himself?
Player?
No, it's a Will Smith, and he's in that room all by himself.
Oh yeah, in Fresh Prince.
Yeah, it reminds me of that one. But so the big trade that I did not see coming personally, it was Nikola Vucevic and Al-Farouq Aminu to Chicago for Wendell Carter Jr., Otto Porter, and 2 first-round picks this year and in 2023. So, what did you think about this one?
It's weird. Obviously they're planning to win right away, right?
Kind of.
I guess. I know Vucevic isn't Mark Gasol. He's not a dinosaur, and he's been getting better every year. So maybe he can keep it going for a while now. But who knows? It's just really weird to trade for a guy because they're where are they in the East right now?
I think they're 10th at the moment.
10th right now, and
we're recording this on the 26th of March. So
and they add Vucevic, and obviously this will make them a playoff team. But we were talking in the car. Does it make them a first round bounce? The East is just so stacked towards the very top. Who are they going to beat unless they're a top
seed? This year, I think the goal is just to get to the playoffs. And then I think they have cap space this summer, so they'll need another piece. Maybe it is a Kyle Lowry. Maybe they give him the bag.
I thought it was going to be Lonzo Ball, but Lonzo stayed put.
And I'm glad he did too, because I like him and Zion together.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, this is a win now trade for the Chicago Bulls, and I also think they did it because of Zach LaVine in his free agency, not this summer but the next summer. And if they want to keep him, they've got to put better players around him, more guys that are ready to win now. And obviously, Vucevic is that guy. It'll be interesting to see if they can, make the playoffs. They're the 10 seed right now. Do you think they can jump a few teams and get in, or do you think they're a play-in?
No, I think they'll make the playoffs, top 8 seed.
I could see them hopping over the Hornets since they don't have LaMelo, and the Knicks too.
Vucevic is just that good. He does everything you want him to do, and I think he's even an underrated defender compared to.
He's one of the best offensive
players in the league, overall. He just does everything, and you pair him with Zach LaVine and a few young guys that are getting it done. Patrick Williams is having a pretty good rookie year, and I assume he will be
he guards everyone's best player too, which is what I love about him most.
I assume the starting lineup with Otto gone is going to be Kobe White, LaVine, Patrick Williams, Markkanen, and Vooch. That's a playoff team for me.
And then off the bat, I think their depth is actually pretty decent too, even with trading Otto, Porter, and Wendell. I feel like they've got some solid pieces off the bench.
I'm trying to think who they.
Satoransky starts for them, and then they'll have Kobe White as a 6-man, which I like.
Yeah, I do too. I like
Kobe in terms of fit. I think he's a better player than Satoransky, but
No, I like him coming off the bench. I thought he started, but if he's coming off the bench, that's better.
Yeah, him and Zach LaVine on the court together is a little weird, especially on the defensive end.
Because he's not Kobe White's not going out there to play make or defend, so. Yeah. Satoransky is probably a better match, but so they got Kobe White off the bench, Chandler Hutchinson. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, Denzel Valentine.
Oh yeah.
They traded for Daniel Tice too at the
Oh,
deadline.
yeah.
So they were a really busy team, and then they even got Troy Brown Jr. from the Wizards, which I didn't even know that they did.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like Troy Brown's game, especially off the bench. But
Yeah, and shout out to King in the fourth quarter. We were watching his video about the trade deadline earlier, and he mentioned that he doesn't care. He just wants to see Chicago as a big market in the playoffs again. So I think that's the thing we would all agree. We want to see them back in that spot. I mean, last time I can remember, a while back, well, no, I think the last time they made the playoffs was when they had Rondo and Wade and Butler, right? But I remember the Christmas Day games, or it was the Bulls versus the Heat, or when the Bulls were just that team to watch when they had
and Coach Tibbs too.
Yeah, and they had Pau Gasol for a while. It was just a fun team to watch, and I would love to see that again.
And they hit the reset button, and now a few years later they're starting to put together a competent team again. So it should be really fun. I think the goal this year is to make the playoffs and then grab some guys in free agency and hopefully make a push to be contenders in the Eastern Conference. For the Magic in this trade, they get a young asset in Wendell Carter, a first-round pick that'll probably be 15 to 20-ish range this year, right? So, and that's a good draft. I could definitely see them get another piece there. And then the 2023 first, I mean, you never really know. That's a couple years from now, but I mean, it could be something of value for sure.
If that turns into Amoni Bates, that would kind
Like
of suck for Chicago.
Exactly. If Zach LaVine leaves, for whatever reason, I doubt he will because it's his team, but that could be a little something for the Magic.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next guy that they traded, and it was Evan Fournier to Boston for 2 first-round picks. I was surprised.
Google Fournier. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, you'll love the results.
Yeah.
So Fournier to Boston. Just do it.
Just do it. Okay.
Fournier to Boston for 2 first-round picks. I was surprised that the Magic couldn't at least get a late first-rounder for Fournier.
Yeah, I mean, he's a bucket. That's always been his job. I think he's gone underrated. You look at his career; he's always given you 17 to 20 a game, and Boston just, I don't know, man. I feel like Danny Ainge just continues to be the most overrated.
I mean, that's a great trade for them.
Yeah,
that's a great trade in itself. But
so, what did Orlando?
Some of the past moves, I definitely agree with you.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not even talking about Fournier specifically, but just at the trade deadline, because I don't know if you heard, it came out that they almost got Vucevic, and it feels like every year there's we get that tweet that's what Boston almost got, and but for Fournier specifically, you'd think they would get more out of him.
Yeah, I would assume that he's a 6-man on this team.
Yeah, because they kept Smart. So
yeah, but I still see this Boston team a tier away from a contender. I think they get bounced in the first round this year. That top 4 in the East, it's just a whole nother tier, and the rest of the teams just I don't think compete with them in a playoff series. But
no.
But yeah, they get a solid shot creator and Fournier for pretty much nothing. So
yeah.
I mean, it's a win-win for them.
What seemed to be a trend in this trade deadline is teams getting players or getting rid of players and getting nothing back.
Yeah.
Not having compensation.
I mean, I liked what the Magic got back for Vooch, but
yeah.
I mean, there's still nothing near his value in that trade. But so Aaron Gordon was the third piece that got traded in this trade, along with Gary Clark, but who cares? He was traded to the Denver Nuggets for Gary Harris, R.J. Hampton, and a 2025 first-round pick. So, as you can see, they're just kind of loading up on first-round picks and potential guys that could be assets for them moving forward. In this trade, I think R.J. Hampton is honestly a more valuable piece than Gary Harris.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing for Denver is they got rid of a bad Gary Harris contract. He was on what was it?
It's $17 million this year, and I think close to $20 next year.
Yeah, and just not giving them the production that they thought he would when they paid him. And
he's supposed to be this 3-and-D guy, which every team needs, but he's just missing the 3 part of that.
Yeah, for sure. And as for RJ, I mean, he hasn't played a whole bunch, but when he has, he's been pretty nice, and that's the main compensation that they really got back. Because 2025 versus that's a while from now, like
4 years.
So I think RJ is what they really wanted here, and they got them to throw in a first.
I honestly think it's smart for them to get Denver's 2025 first because I don't see them being bad anytime soon.
No.
So that pick in 4 years might be
of
value. Although if I had to guess, like if my life depended on it, I would say Denver's still a championship contender then.
Mm-hmm. And I think Gordon is like a really good fit, like in Denver.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. I like Gordon to be more of this off-ball guy, like a cutter, and then we know his athleticism. A bit inconsistent from 3, but I feel like there's going to be better spacing on this team, and he'll get more output shots because of it.
Gordon's one of those guys where like the 2 weirdest positions to have in the NBA is a tweener who like doesn't fit as a point guard or a shooting guard, like too small to be a shooting guard, doesn't play like a point guard. And Gordon's in the same situation, but with the power forward center situation. And I think the best thing you can do with a guy like Gordon is to pair him with a center who's going to get him lobs. And, like, Vucevic did that too. Vucevic is a very good playmaker as well, but on this team, he's going to be doing it while winning.
Yeah, if you're Aaron Gordon, you couldn't ask for a better fit in Denver, honestly.
For
like,
sure.
The playmaking on that team is phenomenal, and Jokic obviously is the biggest part in that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on to probably the second biggest trade of the day, and it was Oladipo to the Miami Heat for
nothing.
Nothing. So yeah, obviously the winner in this trade is Miami. Houston gets. Well, they're pretty much just fading for Cade.
Yeah, that's
and they're just kind of hoping
and
they're just hoping
B. Bunningham
right,
for Cunningham.
like, they're just praying to God that the lottery balls go their way.
Yeah, I mean that's all you can really do.
And that's not.
Might.
I'm sure that's not really a position I would want to be in.
No.
When you just had James Harden a couple months ago.
Yeah, but they just...
That trade, by the way, is looking terrible.
Yeah, and the other night they lost, 20 games in a row? I know they've won since then, but at one point they lost 20 games in a row. Like, that's... They're in a really bad spot right now, so yeah, Cade Cunningham is all that you can really ask for.
They got fleeced by Brooklyn.
And I kind of saw that coming when they got Oladipo instead of LeVert. Like, it just didn't make any sense. Like,
no, why would they choose a short-term guy over Karis LeVert, who is honestly playing really well for the Pacers right now, but like he's under contract for another 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So that would have been better long-term for them. And then they also could have got Jarrett Allen in the package.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see it. Like, they could have gotten 2 long-term guys and some picks alongside with it, but they chose Oladipo, which is not. It's
the
not.
second
It's not
he got
good
there,
right
he
now.
was like, "I want to go to Miami."
Like, and everyone knew that. That was the worst kept secret in the NBA,
Yeah.
honestly. But
Yeah.
so Miami. Let's talk about Oladipo's fit on Miami. I really like it because he wants to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he didn't want to be in Indiana the last couple of years. That was the worst kept secret in the NBA. And obviously, he didn't want to be in Houston. I wouldn't want to either. Let's be honest. But Oladipo probably starts for them, right? And then obviously he's going to sign long term. That's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, he wants to be there, and Miami's looking really good right now. So adding Oladipo,
I think they're the winners of the trade deadline in terms of what they got and then what they
every
gave up.
year. Like every year,
Pat
they
Riley.
look really disappointing, and then when it really matters, they just start hooping. And a lineup
It's
of
Pat Riley, I'm telling you.
a possible lineup of let's see, Dragic, right?
Yeah. That's a lot of guys you can put in there.
Yeah, probably Hero, Oladipo, Jimmy,
And
Bam, or Duncan instead of Hero. It doesn't really matter, but
yeah, just
they can do
anything you put in there is an above average starting 5.
as long as you got Vic, Oladipo. I mean, yeah, as long as you got Oladipo, Jimmy, and Bam on the floor, that's quite a team defensively.
Facts.
So, yeah, that's I mean, I like it for Miami
I'm
a lot,
excited to
obviously.
see it. I'm excited to see it because it's been a long time coming to get Oladipo in Miami, but
Yeah,
it's finally happened, and they are primed to make a run in the East once again.
for sure.
Norman Powell to Portland for Gary Trent and Rodney Hood. This to me didn't make a whole lot of sense
I
for
don't like
Portland.
this trade at all for Portland.
I think it depends on if Norman Powell re-signs there long term.
Norman Powell is the best player in the trade. Like, he's better than Gary Trent right now. But here's my problem. They don't need more undersized guard scoring. They already have that in 3 guys, in Lillard, CJ, and Anthony Simons. Like, if they're bringing in Norman Powell, he better be coming off the bench. Because he can't start at the 3.
You don't think so?
No, how tall is he? Like 6'4", 6'3"?
I'll look it up, but you can keep going.
And Gary Trent gave them outside shooting and, more importantly, defense, which is what they need. They need perimeter defense, and he was their best perimeter defender. And they're getting rid of him at such a young age. Norman Powell is a really good player, but does this make them a contender?
Yeah, he's 6'4".
Yeah. It's undersized.
Unless you're really looking to play small ball.
And he's not a defender. He's out there to score. So which means they're going to start him and limit his role because he's not going to be Norman Powell with CJ and Dame on the court. He's going to be an outside. He's going to be a spot-up shooter.
No, I don't know if they just didn't think they could get Gary Trent as a restricted free agent to re-sign.
Maybe that.
I don't know. Maybe there was problems with the tax. Because I know a lot of these smaller markets, which Portland is a small market, by the way, they have to stay under that luxury tax because they just don't have as much money as those bigger markets. And we see that here. They get an expiring deal for Powell, and he's a better player. I just think this was more of a cat move than it was to, a move to contend for a championship.
Yeah. Now, with that said, if he's coming off the bench, a Dame, CJ, Norman Powell, and I guess we throw Anthony Simons in there, guard rotation is one of the better ones in the league. He's going to come off and help them a lot off the bench if they take him off the bench. I just don't know. I feel like it was one of the more... When I saw Norman Powell got traded, I was like, what did they give up? And I looked at it and I saw Gary Trent, and I was just so surprised. Gary Trent? That's
Toronto,
crazy.
Toronto did well there.
Toronto
really well.
With Van Vliet, Lowry, and Gary Trent, that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think it's the most questionable. I don't think it's going to really hurt Portland right now, but... I think it's really good for Toronto, obviously.
Yeah, facts. Next trade here
Lemon Pepper Lou
was one of my more under-the-radar trades, I would say. Rajon Rondo to the Clippers for Lou Williams and 2 second-round picks. I personally love this for the Clippers because Rondo is exactly what they need. They've needed that playmaking for 2 years now, and that's literally what Rondo does. I don't know if we're going to see a lot of that in the regular season. But when they need him, he's going to come through. What did you think?
I love it for the Clippers. Lou Will isn't that guy anymore. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
He can still get them buckets, but
age gets the best, yeah.
And I don't know if you saw when he first got traded, he was contemplating retiring. He decided not to. He made a whole
It's
post.
only because he's playing for his hometown.
Yeah. And, they have some really good wings there. But I think that's it. Rondo in LA, that could come back.
I feel like they wanted him this offseason, but they just couldn't give him that kind of money yet.
And you mentioned that this flew under the radar. The Clippers, I feel, as if they've flown under the radar the whole season because of what happened in the playoffs with their collapse against Denver. And I feel like people aren't taking them as serious as they should. And adding Rondo to this team, Rondo, Paul George, Kawhi on the same court at the same time for the same team. That's some serious basketball IQ in the playoffs, and I think he's going to do wonders for them. And now, as of right now, I would take a healthy Clippers team over a healthy Lakers team in a 7-game series.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That is a hot take.
With Rondo, I would.
But I will say, nobody talks about this, but Rajon Rondo was the 3rd best player on that Lakers team for
damn near
the
the
last
second.
3 series.
I know AD was dominant statistically, but when I watched those games, Rondo was controlling the pace, everything. I'm telling you, if Rondo is
perfect,
if Rondo is playoff Rondo in the playoffs, I'm taking them over the Lakers. Just as simple as that.
Yeah.
And I know that's hot.
I can't do that.
I know that. I understand. I get that. And the reason that you take that is because I understand why you wouldn't say that they would beat them. Because as great as playoff Rondo is, they have the same thing in playoff LeBron. So it's hard to choose. But I think they're better all overall. Just the deeper team. Plus, adding Rondo just makes them so much better.
So I've seen a few articles react to, this trade and every other trade. And Bleacher Report gave this a D for the Clippers. And I was like, why? How is this a D? They gave up second-round picks, which, I guess you never know. But Lou Will is historically horrible when it comes to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Clippers give a rip anymore what they do in the regular season.
No.
In fact, I don't think their fans care anymore either, and the NBA fan base as a whole. We want to see what they can do in a 7-game series with the Lakers. And getting Rondo, it gives them a better chance to beat them. And you think that they will. I can't quite go there. So
this is my finals team, by the way, just to make that clear.
the Clippers.
Not just in the game against the Lakers, but this is I have Lakers in Brooklyn, which we will get to.
Clippers in Brooklyn, you mean?
Yeah, Clippers in Brooklyn. We'll get to.
Wow.
Yeah, I know it's
a very hot
take, but
I feel like everyone else is giving up on him, and then AJ's over here like, nah, I got the Clippers.
Yeah, just wait, man.
I respect it. That's ballsy.
It is. I'm known for those type of things.
Okay, let's move on to our last. Whoa!
Okay.
I just realized that.
Okay. All right, JJ Redick.
Whoa. Yeah, I did not expect that. Anyways, AJ's a little sus. So JJ Redick and Nicolo Melli, I think is how you say it.
Yeah.
Goes to Dallas for pretty much nothing. So
yeah. So New
So
Orleans.
the Pelicans aren't making the playoffs.
The Pelicans woke up trade deadline day and said, "Let's get rid of all of our shooting." That's
the
what
lack
they did.
of shooting that they already had.
They're like, all right, nobody on this team can shoot except Redick and Melly, so let's get them out of here.
So Lonzo Ball's their best shooter.
Lonzo Ball.
Who would have thought a couple years ago that would ever be the case?
It's a really bad spot to be in.
So let's just talk about this quick. The Pelicans pretty much just solidified the 12th seed.
Yeah.
And Dallas gets much needed shooting. I know that wasn't a problem for them last year, but they just traded away their shooters.
Not only did they get rid of their shooting, but they brought in not good basketball players.
Yeah. Josh Richardson a little overrated. You think?
You mean James Johnson?
Yeah. Did they trade for him or they traded for him because he's on a big contract?
Yeah, but I guess out of all the teams in the NBA now with James Johnson and Zion on the same team, you wouldn't want to be one of the last teams you want to get into a bar fight with, but that doesn't make them any good at basketball. I don't know. I don't get it. That's all I really have to say.
But I really like this for Dallas. They gave up nothing, and they got 2 much-needed shooters. And I can see both of those guys in the rotation come playoff time. So, there was a 3-team trade. I think this is our only 3-team trade, right? Mm-hmm. Which is kind of crazy. Usually a lot of them are 3 teams, but George Hill goes to Philly. Austin Rivers, Tony Snell in 2 seconds go to your OKC Thunder.
Yeah.
And Terrence Ferguson goes to New York. I'm not sure why New York even got in that.
And I think Rivers is going to get bought out. I don't think he's going to play for us.
You think? I think he's on a multi-year contract. Though.
Oh, well.
If it even matters, you guys aren't going to go for anyone, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't see him playing for us. Terrence Ferguson continues to just move around. Having him in New York, at least they get another young player.
Good for him, I guess.
New York has nothing to lose right now. They're not just don't.
Yeah, they were really quiet. I will say that.
Yeah, and that's what they should do. They shouldn't go out trying to make any splashes in a year where they're finally doing stuff right.
They should do the complete opposite of what they used to. That's how you win.
Which is what they're doing, and that's why they're winning. So, good for them. I say winning with it. They're not really winning, but they're
500.
Yeah,
that's in the East. That's pretty good, I guess.
Yeah.
Obviously, the only notable piece in this is George Hill to Philly. He's just another rotational guy that they get.
They didn't get Kyle Lowry, but they got a guy who can do similar things.
He's a great,
nowhere near the same
shooter.
level. Yeah, for sure.
There's a few other ones. There's only a few. We'll probably be done with this episode in the next few minutes, but let's talk about a trade for my Detroit Pistons, who were surprisingly kind of quiet.
Yeah.
I expected any guy over the age of 28 to get traded from us, but I guess they like some of our vets that we have. So in this trade, DeLon Wright goes to the Kings for Corey Joseph and 2 second-round picks. And this obviously is no blockbuster, but DeLon Wright is the best player in this trade, so Sacramento gets like a fourth guard, played 15 to 20-ish minutes, and he's a solid player. He started for us this year, and he showed flashes of being a pretty good player. I would say he just lacks aggressiveness. That's like the only thing. Like, he'll get down close to the rim, and he just won't realize he's right by the rim, and he's kind of passive, and it drives me a little crazy.
Sacramento's just a weird team for him to go to because they have so much guard play, like with
Yeah, I'm not sure what Sacramento's trying to do here. Are they?
I feel like we've been saying that for 15 years. I have no idea.
They always bounce between trying to win and then rebuilding.
Yeah.
And they were kind of quiet this trade deadline besides getting DeLon Wright, which, I mean, I guess it's a upgrade over Corey Joseph, but the Pistons kind of add to their second-round picks, I guess.
Yeah.
They'll have 3 second-round picks this year in the first round. I could see them maybe packaging those seconds for late first. That's what I would be hoping, but you never know with Troy Weaver, the Wizard.
Troy Weaver, former Thunder management.
So moving on to our last few trades of the deadline, let's talk about this 3-team trade between the Wizards, Chicago Bulls, and Boston Celtics. So pretty much the Wizards get a couple young players in Gafford and Chandler Hutchinson. The Celtics grab up Luke Cornett and Mo Wagner, my guy from Michigan.
My guy Luke Cornett from wherever he went to college.
No one knows. And the Bulls acquire Daniel Tice, Devontae Green, Troy Brown Jr., and some cash. I would love some cash right now. Not gonna lie.
I mean, I'll trade my house for some cash.
So much. This is just kind of
Vanderbilt University.
Vanderbilt. Wow.
Yeah,
hey, that's where Sabian Lee went.
Yeah.
We were just watching the Pistons.
Studs just come from there.
I guess so. It's
great
crazy.
shooters.
Oh no, that is what Sabian Lee is, not a shooter. So yeah, this is just kind of a bunch of hoopla in this trade. Like, you're just trading rotational players. So
I feel like they just did it to do something.
I kind of like it for the Bulls, I guess. But other than that, I don't see a whole lot in this. And then a few other notable ones.
Daniel Tice is the best player in this whole trade, right?
That's saying a lot.
Yeah. I mean, really he's solid, but like...
He's a solid backup center, I would say.
Yeah.
JaVale McGee went to Denver. I mean...
Back to Denver. Is he going to be on Shaq and a Fool again all the time?
I think he's banned from there.
Yeah.
Or I think he banned himself from there because he just got so tired of Shaq. But yeah, he'll probably be their backup center. Nemanja Bjelica goes to Miami. They get even more shooting and even more depth. It's kind of ridiculous at this point. And then Terrence Davis, who I think is kind of under the radar, goes to Sacramento.
I agree.
And they have so many guards, I don't think he'll play. So I kind of feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, that's all our trades for this video. If you guys did enjoy, hit the subscribe button, drop a like. Let us know in the comments down below if your team took a W or an L in the trade deadline. I know for my Pistons, I don't even know if it was a W or an L.
Yeah,
it was kind of like an NA, not available.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
And let us know in the comments why you guys love these mock draft videos so much. Cause,
yeah, they go crazy.
Yeah, we're trying to figure that out. And if we can find the formula for that video for other videos so we don't just make mock draft videos, that'd be great. So just let us know.
Yeah, it gets a little boring doing the same video every time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for today's video. You can check out our Instagram pages linked in our bio. That's going to be it for us. We are Hoop Life Productions Podcast. Peace out, guys.
See ya.